Okay, I want to get this out quick before I forget. I know it's so stupid filming, stupid dwarf. Anyway, listen, listen to me. I study a lot. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just repeating to you what the most common story is about certain things, okay? Not story, but the report, the everything, okay? And before I forget this, I know that there is a lot of people that are gun advocates, okay? I'm not saying that's wrong. There's a law right now that Ohio is passing. It's something like strong, like in capital letters, a gun bill. I don't know if people who are opposed to owning their guns or not opposed. I mean, I don't know, okay? I just want you to realize something. Basically, what it tells you is that you really can't own a gun. Anybody. Like, if you've even been charged with a crime but not found guilty, you are not allowed to have a gun. Now, somebody who doesn't know that, there is no grace period. Like, there's no time that they check to see if that applies to you. So they give you a gun, and then you're automatically a felon, and they come for you. That's not a lie. It's not a lie. Substance abuse can have you locked up involuntarily in a psychiatric hospital. And then you cannot own a gun. But as I said, they don't have a period where they check it. So you're automatically a felon. I read a story of a guy that he literally, the officers were protecting him because he had used, and he had a license to carry, but it didn't matter. They kept, like, at first they were on his side, and then suddenly they were not. And there's like this Buckeye, gun association, and they're trying to fight these laws. And I don't blame them, because they're pretty fucked up and crooked. What I'm telling people, when you have somebody who is, an advocate of, the Second Amendment or the right to bear arms, okay? You're an advocate of that. You need to look into the state you live in and what they're doing. Don't look at the whole country. Don't do it. You won't be doing yourself any favor. You won't be doing yourself any favor to listen to somebody say, vote Republican, and vote Republican. Vote Democrat, and vote Democrat. You need to study your state individually. Okay? We all have to work on repealing the qualified immunity doctrine, because that is the real kicker. When the taxpayers are the ones paying for people's irreprehensible, behavior, it's disgusting. They shouldn't be allowed to drive 126 miles per hour on their own personal cell phone, and the taxpayers pay $8 million in a wrongful death suit. We didn't do that. They did. I know people who are officers or, government officials who will argue with me to death on that and say, yeah, but then they won't want to do the job. Really? Well, then if that's how they're attracted to that job, is by being reckless, then good. I'm glad they don't want to do the job. I wanted to touch on a case I had touched I mean, I had spoken about in the first episode of List of Police-Involved Shootings, which was a Brian Babb. He was a veteran. I believe he had done 3 tours. He did suffer from PTSD. 49-year-old white man. He lived in the city of Eugene. And you know what? Silly me. Hold on. I'm going to find it. Oregon. Okay? And he was suicidal. Okay? And he called his therapist. And the therapist, you know, yes, he had fired his pistol inside his house, but not at anyone. And he spoke to his therapist. And then in a lengthy call, which included the police, he did, you know, state that he would be taking the, you know, whatever out of his gun, dismantling it, and did want help. He was asking for help. He wanted help. When the police came there, they came in a tank with a bullhorn. They pulled up on his front lawn, and he had kids in the house and everything, and when he opened his front door, he was shot 5.5 inches below the top of his head, through the cheek, through the back of his head, and the bullet was found lodged in the wall of his house. I find that disgusting. To do that to somebody with PTSD, drive-in with a tank and a bullhorn. How fucking disgusting is that? And so it was brought to my attention that recently the wrongful death suit was coming up. Of course, you know, the officer did not. Officer Stutzman was his name. He did not get any charges put against him, and they tried to claim that a rifle was next to him, but, you know, they did not have any video. They would not allow anything to be presented in the case, and the wrongful death suit was denied. Once again, a lot of times it really is, you know, although I did another case of, I think his name was Brian Jones, and he was leaving a 7-Eleven. He was a black teenager, and he was shot by a 21-year veteran, a black officer in Cleveland, Ohio, and their family got $950,000. Mind you, that all of this comes from the taxpayers. Okay? And incredibly enough, I can look and try to see if any of these officers, to find out what they're doing now, if they're employed at another police station or something, and you can't find it. You just can't find it. So anyway, so there was no justice to the Babb family and his children that witnessed what happened to him. I find that a real tragedy. I find everything a tragedy now. Please work on qualifying the... I'm sorry, my mind is just gets so much in it. Please work on repealing the qualified immunity doctrine. Please, if you don't know what it means, please look it up and read. Please, please. And when voting, even in something as a, you know, please Realize the laws vary from state to state, and each state has its own constitution. Please, this isn't a joke. I'm not making it up. I know people are smart. Take it seriously, please. I know it's coming to you from Dopey, but hey, whatever. United we stand, divided we fall.